All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol IDEX, Ideanomics Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And as we jump into this chart, I just want to quickly announce that I have a Twitter account. I just opened it recently. The link is down below in the description if you want to join me on Twitter. And I want you guys to stay tuned till the end of this video, because I have a new ticker symbol to share with you guys. I talked about ALGM in the previous videos. I've talked about WBA in the previous videos. So if you haven't already added those, you can definitely do some research and add those to your watch list. But today, I have a new one for you guys. So stay tuned for that towards the end of this video. So let's talk about IDEX, right? IDEX stock is in a downward trend. That's something that I'm watching very carefully here. And it's been going to newer lows every time. It fights to stay up, but then it drops. So the question is, will it actually start to drop again and kind of fight to stay up and drop again and kind of fight to stay up? Now, the one thing I am noticing when I kind of undraw this all here, and instead of just looking at from this peak down to this point, you can kind of see it curvature into that sideways movement. That's a more optimistic way of looking at it and saying, okay, well, we're kind of staying around this area. Now, that is true, but when I look at it, I just see that peak of downward trend. Now, I don't want you guys to get confused with all these lines and arrows, but I would like to see your opinion. Does it look like a very steep fall, or does it look like things are leveling off here, like this one right here? This is the leveling off arrow. This is the very steep fall. So I look forward to seeing how you guys feel about it, what your thoughts are, and other investor sentiment. But it's looking pretty steep to me. But then it also looks like things are leveling off. We want to watch closely how it's going to react if it stays within this channel. And I have some numbers for us to look at that are very important moving forward. I think that's probably one of the most important things that we need to look at in this chart, the numbers I'm about to discuss. So obviously, the 50-day moving average, very important. It's $3. As long as we're below it, we're in bearish territory. The moment we're above it, we're in bullish territory. Now, currently, we're below it and we're in bearish territory. But something that I'm looking at is, yes, we hit newer lows here in the downward trend. But down here, we have a support level, and that's 267. I think that's probably the most important support level right now as we're getting closer to those numbers, that if that gets broken through, we will see this hit newer lows and probably end up back in this area down here. If I go ahead and draw, it would be somewhere around this area down here as this continues to move. Now, we want to pay close attention to that point. Excuse me for that. That's from jikh, the previous video. But here we are with 267. Super important point to keep in mind. Now, on the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, this resistance level is pretty important right now due to the fact that it is the first resistance level above the 50-day moving average in the story of this going downwards before it broke through the 50-day moving average here. So that is a very important number to keep in mind moving forward. But we do have a new resistance which is slightly above the 50-day moving average right now. But this is the last resistance level and the highest before it broke through the 50-day moving average earlier in the day. So we want to keep that number in mind. And that's right here, 337. Now, above that one comes this point here, 355. Definitely recommend writing that down. And the highest point was up here at around 388, which we talked about in yesterday's video. Now, we want to look at our new support. We want to look at our new resistance based off the chart and what it's showing us. And then we want to also go ahead and keep in mind the 50-day moving average, how close it is to this whole entire situation of the chart today. Now, this is a really good resistance level to refer to, but I'm also going to refer to the one up here at 304. So I know it's a lot of numbers, but these are the numbers moving forward with the volatility going upwards, and this downward number here, 267, is important in the stock moving downwards. That one's upwards. This one's downwards. So we want to have all these numbers rain down according to the volatility, moves, whether it's going up or down in the near future, in the next coming days or weeks. So it's super important to keep these numbers in mind. So 304 is the highest resistance level and is the first one above the 50-day moving average of 301. I want every single investor to keep that in mind, or $3, give or take. So super important to keep that in mind. The first one is 304, but that's not as significant as the one up here, 337. That definitely needs to be broken through moving forward so that this can pull further away from the 50-day moving average in an upward direction. Now, our support level here, which is the lowest point in this bearish run, is 273. I highly suggest paying close attention to this stock the closer it gets to the support level, and if it breaks through it, how is it behaving between 273 and the low here of 267? Are the bulls trying to reappear, or are the bears just tearing this one down to newer lows, which will then go ahead and confirm that what I'm seeing is a steep downward trend? Now, one investor could look at it that way, and another can look at it this way, where it was pretty steep and it's starting to level off, which you can kind of debate that and say, well, it looks like it's leveling off. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing other investors' sentiment and how they feel. But it does look kind of sideways. But as long as it stays above these numbers is what's going to confirm it's staying sideways. If it breaks through 267, it is on its way to a steeper looking chart downward trend. So that's what we need to watch for, and that's why these support levels are so important. So 273 comes first, 267 is next. See how the bulls are reacting in this area, and if the bears are tearing this one down fairly fast. Super important to watch for those behaviors. Now, we're currently at 293, and our resistance level is 297. Now, this resistance level does not confirm or guarantee that the bulls have gained control and that they're going to get back up above the 50-day moving average into bullish territory. I think that's probably one of the most important things to bear in mind as an investor. This is just an indicator to let us know that the stock is moving upwards and getting closer to the 50-day moving average to then cross into bullish territory. But 297 is the first step to get there, and we need to watch this carefully. If the bulls can turn that into a support, they can then pull up, reach newer highs, new resistance levels, and get deeper into bullish territory. So it's going to be important for the bulls to do this and do so, but that does not guarantee that they're going to confirm and get into bullish territory. It's just one step closer in the upward direction to then cross the 50-day moving average. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. So for those of you that have stayed till the end of this video to know which ticker symbol to add to your watch list, we've talked about WBA in previous videos. We've talked about ALGM. The new one is LXRX. Now, I want every single investor to keep in mind, this is very speculative. So this is something that either you're going to learn from the behavior of how the chart moved, or just add to your watch list to watch, or you can have the option of paper trading it to get a feel of how this sector works and how some stocks that run up because of a catalyst of news or an event. So anything that I share here in my channel is for you guys to learn about different ways to play different stocks according to what sector they're in, what market cap they're in, and if they're a penny stock or a stock at anywhere between $5 to $10, $10 to $20, $20 to $30, and so forth. So everything here is about a learning experience to maximize profits and minimize losses. So once again, that stock is LXRX, very speculative. ALGM, WBA are stocks that you definitely want to keep on your watch list and do some research. And once you rationalize as an investor to make a decision, those are stocks that definitely have potential because they have different catalysts moving into this year and moving into the next months, weeks, however you want to go about it. But this stock is very speculative. It's something to just watch this week, moving into next week, see how it reacts, because this Thursday there's a big event for the stock. If you do research and due diligence, I believe you'll find different articles talking about that event. And if you don't find any, I'll go into more detail about it in the comments, or I'll try to find an article where I talk about it, and not I talk about it, where they talk about it, and I'll share it with you guys. But definitely put it on your radar, and this is definitely one to learn from. And if you're an experienced trader, do your due diligence, do your research, and watch the charts, and make your own rational decisions based off of what you see. But once again, the stock is LXRX, very speculative. I really want to emphasize that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.